Hey guys, Panada here. Sorry this video is coming out a day late. I had a super busy couple of days and I haven't really had a lot of time to record or even play the game, but I did get a chance to recently, and this is a deck I actually had showcased way before I started doing commentaries, and it's basically my super legionnaire deck, and it has Last Stand, which is 5 Legionnaires, or 7 if the enemy has both bridges, Legionnaires, which is 4, and then Lost Legionnaires, which is 2. The only Legionnaire card that it doesn't really include, which I consider a Legionnaire card, is Wolf Among Sheep, but I don't really care. That card's not very good. But yeah, basically, my thought process in this deck is to make big pushes with Lost Legionnaires, and Last Stand. Bannerman comes in quite nicely because it can shield up to 7 minions, and giving 7 shields to all 7 Legionnaires is quite strong. I like it. Had some good games with it, and we'll get right into them. Okay, first game. I think real quick I'm going to turn down this audio. There. First game against Legendary Gamer on the Milow. Or is that? Yeah, that's Milloween. Sorry. For a second, I thought it may have been Morelia. He was running a cursed deck with Milloween. Quite strong if you have the right deck. Obviously, it's not all accursed, but the main theme is accursed with Toll of the Dead and all the corpses. As you can see, he's already got 4 skeletons basically on the field. Got my Legionnaires going down below. But we're able to take care of those skeletons quite easily. He's got Grasping Thorns, which I think is a very underrated spell these days, especially against swarmy decks. Saving up mana. I don't quite get the mana in time before I take the bridge, so I can't play Last Stand here. But honestly, that's okay, because I still got the Legionnaires. But yeah, it's like a constant swarm of Legionnaires, which are pretty beefy. Not the easiest to deal with unless you have a lot of AoE in like Defenso Chopper or something like that. Even Whirly Scrat. Here's my first chance at Last Stand, because he had bridge buddies, he didn't know I had Last Stand, and here comes another push. And then I send in Lost Legionnaires right after. His Blastmancer actually did come in kind of handy for him this game. All the explosions. I get a random ghost from a perk 2 Simulacrum. So it's only a 2 mana ghost. And I'm basically trying to take over his Arcane Golem, which I successfully manage, and I say thank you. Is that toxic? You tell me. I don't think it's that toxic. It's just funny. Arcane Golem really came in clutch there. Killed lots for me. I'm about 20 XP ahead. And being Milloween, he will not have a dragon. He has 4 Undying Corpses on the field. Not overly concerned about it. This deck does have some decent AoE itself with Rocket Scrat and Grenadier, Daggerfall even for this more swarmy stuff. Just continuing to apply the pressure. He does have Nearbeer's Breath, which is interesting. No last stand once again. That's okay though. This Tantrum Thrower's doing some work. Taking out the Blastmancer. I'm getting pretty close to Mana Frenzy. He's not even at perk 3. I mean, I'm still like 45 XP off, but... honestly, Nearbeer's Breath is actually really good for him in this matchup. Because Legionnaires get killed by it. I get a Bounty Sniper for perk 3. Using the Illusionary Cleaver to get some damage off. He is kind of making a pushback here. If I wasn't so close to Mana Frenzy, he might have been able to kind of make a comeback this game. I think, yeah. If I recall correctly, I only played Last Stand once this game. Definitely a little underutilized, but there's Mana Frenzy for me. I give him the well played, because honestly he did pretty good this game. I do think this deck of mine is quite strong. Obviously it has its direct counters and stuff, but the endless waves of Legionnaires can be a little difficult to deal with. And the shields too, unless you have some tick damage, it's kind of, the shields are quite strong. But yeah, pretty good game. We'll get into the next one right away here for you guys. This game, we got Fius on Wrecked. Fius is a very strong player. Always, well, most of the time, always on the leaderboard. We're trying to high-five each other, but we can't. This game is very much, kind of like counter push into counter push. I think he's kind of shocked to see Bannerman. He does the shock emote. He's got the Shield Guard of Light. Very popular card. One card I think is very strong. Very strong into my deck as well because of the Armor of Light. Legionnaires kind of struggle against the Shield Guard. He's got Cage Prowler, which I have no answers for, unfortunately. He does have Scratillery as well, which is another big shutdown on my deck. I'm taking a lot of damage here. am ahead a bit on XP, but I am way below on the health kind of game. There's a shield guard again. The one thing that this deck actually does lack is like one really good spell. It's got a good spell for swarms, but that's about all it has. But as you can see, this game was about the counter pushes, because like now he's below me in health, but now he's got a big push coming back at me with the Tranquil and the shield guard. But this one does prove to be a little too much. If I had a chance to do another counter push, maybe I would have won it, but I didn't. He won the game fair and square. Okay, this will be the last game. Against a Ravager. Whammer. Whammer. I don't know how to say his name. He's a pretty good player. He's usually on the leader. Well, maybe not on the leaderboard, but he's usually high master. As you can see, he's got last stand as well. I could have played that whole engagement a little better. He's got Brothers of the Void, so that's the Assassin and Flame Imp with Rage. He's got Propeller Horde. Very aggro in his deck. As you would expect from a Ravager, obviously. Brutus just making his way downtown. I let him go on face. Brutus does not do a lot of damage, so you don't need to worry about him attacking your tower. There's my last stand, but what do you know? He's got Razor Squadron. So that does shut down my push pretty well. As well as Siege Breaker. But that was actually Rapid Response Reserves, so not exactly Siege Breaker. But also good versus what I'm doing because of the AoE. I misplayed those crossbow dudes so badly. Had to play the stint just to take the bridge. There's his last stand, but only the 5 legionnaires, which is not ideal for him. My Bannerman comes in pretty clutch there, saving a lot of damage from that chain lightning, allowing me to win the engagement. I botched the Daggerfall, not killing every single scrat. Just letting Razor Squadron go on face, saving my shield totem just in case I'll need it. He has got a lot of Marines. But luckily, good old Rocket Scrat takes care of the rest. Fun fact, if you shield a Rocket Scrat, it can get 3 attacks off. Because the first attack will kill the shield, the second will kill his little personal shield, and then he can do 1 more attack. His deck was very like, I don't know what I'd call it. I think it was just like more or less another push deck. Very aggressive. Lord Fanriel, Razor Squad, Last Stand. Very all in. I am on a lot of XP though, which is my saving grace right now. And here comes the second Brutus. Luckily I have a 5 mana last stand thanks to his rapid response reserves. I don't know if that beam was worth it for him, but it did kill quite a lot. Hard to say in hindsight, I guess. His Brutus didn't accomplish much, which I am very grateful for. I hit Mana Frenzy in just a few seconds. He's still 40 XP away. Decent Chain Lightning. That Siege Breaker being very annoying. Lots of health. Decent AoE. Finally ended his push, and I can go win the game now. He does steal my monkey though. But that's okay, because it dies right away. But yeah, it's kind of a cool deck. Lots of legionnaires, can make it frustrating, but it's very counterable with a decent amount of AoE. Like, having one Fergus would completely nullify everything in this deck. But yeah, here's one last look at it. I use it with APEP. You could use Valorian, who would be very good with the heals, Diona, any kind of like, almost any master really. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll try and get back onto the 2-day schedule, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.